Hello everyone, I am your educator Orpita Vishwas and today I am going to discuss about the seventh part of our topic, the digestive system, which include the physiological activities in large intestine. So guys, let's start. This topic can be discussed by the functional anatomy, secretion, bacterial activity and motility of large intestine, defecation, feces and function of large intestine, and the last one is the applied aspects. So let's talk about the functional anatomy first. The large intestine is a tube about 6 cm in diameter and 100 cm in length. This is consisted of many parts. The number one is the cecum, which is a blind-ended sac into which opens the lower end of the ileum. The ileocecal junction is guarded by the ileocecal valve, which allows inflow but prevents backflow of the intestinal contents. The appendix, it is a worm-shaped tube that arises from the medial side of the cecum, which in human being is a vestigial organ, so it is important. The ascending colon that extends upward from the cecum along the right side of the abdomen up to the liver. The next one is the transverse colon that extends from the right hepatic flexure to the left splenic flexure. It is U-shaped. The descending colon that extends from the left splenic flexure to the pelvic inlet below. Now the sigmoid colon that begins at the pelvic inlet as continuation of the descending colon and joins the rectum in front of the sacrum. The last one is the rectum that descends in front of the sacrum to leave the pelvis by piercing the pelvic floor. And there is also presence of anal canal which opens to the exterior through the anus and the opening which is guarded by two sphincter, which are the ileocecal sphincter and internal and outer sphincter. Now let's talk about the histological characteristics of large intestine. It is similar to that described in general part of the digestive system but have some special characteristics. There is absence of villi and it is thrown into folds opposite to the contractions seen in wall of large intestine which produce sacculations. Large number of tubular glands which are known as the crypts of Lieberkühn is present in this layer. The epithelial cells of this part contain no enzyme. And there is presence of longitudinal layer of muscle coat in the colon and it is unusual. Most fibers in it are collected to form 3 thick bands. The tinea coli which can be seen through the serous layer and a thin layer of longitudinal fibers are present in the intestine between the tinea. There is also presence of serous layer but it is in very low number at the posterior aspect of the ascending and descending colon. Now let's talk about the secretion. The epithelial cells of mucosa, which is the goblet cells, secrete mucus that lubricates fecal matter and prevent damage to the layer. And the glands of Lieberkühn, which secrete water which contain HCO3- ion that maintain alkaline environment to protect from the bacterial activity. Now the bacterial activity which happens in the large intestine. This can be discussed through many points. The harmless bacteria which are the E. coli, Enterobacter and other are the potentially dangerous bacteria like the gas gangrene bacteria. These bacteria have many activities, mainly 3. Number 1 is the beneficial activities. That is synthesis of vitamin C and B complex, conversion of the carbohydrates to fatty acid and also cholesterol metabolism. Number 2 is indifferent activities, that is production of intestinal gases, organic acids and potentially toxic amines, and this activity causes odor of feces. And the last one is the determinal mental activities, that includes consumption of vitamin C and B complex and also includes the production of ammonia. Now let's talk about the motility, which is known as the slow wave activity. Like other parts of the gastrointestinal tract, the motility of large intestine is also coordinated by basal electrical rhythm or BER. This can be discussed through many types. Number 1 is the Hosteral shunting. It is similar to the segmentation contraction of small intestine, which vigorously mix the contents of colon and by exposing more of the contents to mucosal layer and facilitate absorption. The main function of this movement is mixing and propulsion of the food particles. Second one is the peristalsis, which is a progressive contractile wave produced by a wave of relaxation. The main function it is that they propel the contents toward the rectum in very slow rate. Now third one is the mass movement. These are special type of peristaltic contraction which are observed in the colon only. This mass movement is characterized by appearance of constriction ring at distended or irritated point in the colon, followed by a simultaneous contraction of the smooth muscle as a unit over large confluent areas distal to the contraction. Now the gastrocolic reflex. This refers to contraction of colon included by the entry of food into the stomach. Now let's talk about the defecation. It is the process of excretion of fecal material that involves both voluntary and reflex activity. These start with many reflexes. The reflex contraction of smooth muscles present in the colon, then reflex relaxation of internal and external sphincter, reflex relaxation and voluntary control of external sphincter, and voluntary contribution of abdominal muscles causes distension of rectum, and this causes defecation reflex to be activated. As the rectum starts filling, the resultant rise in intrarectal pressure stimulates the stretch receptors, sets up defecation reflexes and produces an urge to defecate. The voluntary external and anal sphincter, which normally remains tonically contracted, further contracts when there is moderate rise in rectal pressure. This reflex includes the intrinsic reflex, the spinal cord reflex, and this whole reflexes causes defecation to occur. Now let us know the feces. The feces have many things. The main thing are the intestinal secretion and the undigested food particles. The pH of feces is slightly acidic, which rounds to 5 to 7 pH. The color is brown and it is because of the diurobilin. There is presence of odor in this feces, which is due to presence of indole, stricol and mercaptans in the feces. Now let us talk about the main functions of the large intestine. Number 1 is the secretory function. The large intestinal secretion mainly comprise mucin, which helps to lubricate the fecal matter. Second one is the synthesis function. The bacterial flora of large intestine synthesize folic acid, vitamin B12 and vitamin K. Absorptive function, the absorption of water and electrolytes is the chief function of proximal part of the colon. And also organic substances like glucose, alcohol and some drugs like anesthetic drugs, sedatives, steroids can also be absorbed in the large intestine. The vitamin K and a number of B complex vitamins which are synthesized by the colon bacteria are also absorbed in the large intestine. So this part is very important. Fourth one is the excretory function. Heavy metals like mercury, lead, bismuth, those are excreted by the large intestine through the feces. Last one is the storage function. After the absorption of nutrients, water and other substances, the unwanted substances form the feces and these are excreted from the body. Now the last topic, the applied aspects. In this case, we will talk about the role of dietary fibers first. These dietary fibers have many importance in case of large intestine in human. It helps on the intestinal food transmit. The dietary fibers are constituted by cellulose, hemicellulose and lignin. And in human beings, there is no appreciable digestion of the dietary fibers at all. The indigested dietary fibers reach the large intestine in an essentially unchanged state and thus add bulk to the feces and thus play a role in defecation reflex by distending the rectum. It also helps in prevention of diseases like it reduces absorption of digested foodstuffs, it reduces the blood cholesterol level and also prevents the colonic cancer by dilution of carcinogens and excretion of carcinogens. And it also has some therapeutic role like in constipation the dietary fibers work as bulk laxatives by providing a larger volume of indigested material to the colon. In spastic colon and diverticular disease, the dietary fibers are useful by making the stool softer and thus lowering the intraluminal pressure. Now let's talk about some disorders of the large intestinal motility. Number 1 is the Hirschsprung's disease or aganglionic megacolon disease, which refers to the congenital absence of Auerbach plexus in the wall of rectosigmoid region that leads to blockage of both peristalsis and mass contractions at the aganglionic segmentation. Second one is the constipation that refers to failure of voiding of feces which produces discomfort. It results from infrequent mass movement in the colon and as a result the fecal matter remains in the colon for longer time. So large amount of fluid is absorbed and the feces becomes dry and heavy. The last one is the diarrhea. It is a condition which is characterized by increased frequency of defecation with increased water contents to the feces. So that's all for today. If you like this video, please share it and give it a big thumbs up, and if you are new on our channel, please subscribe it and don't forget to hit the bell icon for further future notification. You can send your queries to our Gmail account given in the description box or you can comment below also. Thank you. We will meet on next Monday and discuss about the digestion and absorption.